I'm Harrison Graham. It's time for a Bears Now mailbag. Mega Bears 07 asks, did you see TJ Watt's post? Any chance the Bears would try to trade for him? I did, and I did load up a few TJ Watt kind of graphics here in case this got brought up. And if you missed it, he posted this on his IG story, kind of like throwing up the deuces, we'll see ya. And there's kind of been some whispers that that was not by accident. That was I'm in the final year of my contract. I want a new deal. I've seen Myles Garrett get $40 million. I've been just as productive as him. Danielle Hunter just got a raise to $35+ million. I want a new contract. Could he get traded? There's been buzz that maybe they don't want to pay him that and they would consider shopping him. Look, I'd be shocked, really, from both angles. One, from Pittsburgh. He just feels like a lifer there. But you always make a call. And listen, hey, what would you consider? What do you want for him, right? 2 1s? Not doing that. So I think all good GMs always are making a call. Is he available? Is he not? What would you consider if contract negotiations went south? Draft night trade. There's always it's the NFL. Things always change. Things always can happen that you wouldn't expect. Listen, this is one of the best players of his generation. He's going to wear a gold jacket one day in Canton. At times he's been a little banged up, but the last 2 years played all 17 games. He's a leader. He is scheme-proof, in my opinion. He doesn't have the measurables of a traditional Dennis Allen 4-3 edge, but that doesn't matter in this case when you're as good as he is. And, of course, he wants a new deal because he's not even one of the top 10 highest-paid edges anymore. Crosby, $35 million now. Danielle Hunter, who he's much better than, $35.5. Myles Garrett, $40. Even if the Steelers are like, Garrett might be a tick better than you, what, you're going to let your rival team pay the rival edge rusher more? Like, TJ Watt probably wants to reset the market, which for the Bears angle probably makes it a tough sell. Like, do you want to trade? Like, it's one thing with Hendrickson, like maybe you can get him in the 30s. If you trade for TJ Watt, you're having to reset the market. Do the Bears want to do that? That might be a little tough. But again, you make the call, you see what's available. From a draft pick compensation, I actually think the trade package would be less than what you would think. Just again, for the reason that he is 30 and that you have to turn around and pay him at minimum 38 per year, but probably 40 to get him on a long-term extension. So I just, kind of threw this together. Swap first-round picks, 10 and 21. Give the Steelers 72 for TJ Watt. It seems underwhelming, but with what you'd have to pay him, quick math, by the way, to drop from 10 to 21, that's like an early second-round pick on this year's draft chart. So you're giving up early second and an early third-round pick for TJ Watt. That's not nothing. Like, for a 30-year-old pass rusher that you're going to have to give $40 million per year, would you do this trade? Type Y for yes, type in for no. You don't have to give up a 1. I'm not completely against it. I'd be surprised. I love TJ Watt. But I think in the end, Pittsburgh works something out here. But, man, you feel a lot better about your defensive line if you add him to this unit. There's no question about that. DC Viper, do you think Ben Johnson is a front-runner for Coach of the Year? What are your top 5 coaches for this season? Well, that's kind of 2 different questions. I do think he'll be in the mix because, like, hot name, trendy team that's always in the headlines like the Bears makes sense. Like, if they make the playoffs, he'll be in the mix to win it. Top 5 coaches for this season, I can't put Ben in there. He's never been a head coach. So, like, I'll just go with who I think the best 5 coaches are. Andy Reid is still number 1. I'd go McVay 2. Shanahan had a bad year last year, but he'd be somewhere in the top 5. I don't think Tomlin's top 5 anymore. I'm still not putting Sirianni top 5, but you'd put him top 10 at this point. John Harbaugh, maybe both Harbaughs. Like, are those the 5? Sean Payton, like those. Then you get to the Tomlins, the McDermotts. I think Dan Campbell's got to be in that mix at this point. Kevin O'Connell, but he hasn't won a playoff game yet, so you can't put him top 5. I think Johnson, if he leads this team to the playoffs, I mean, he'll establish himself very quickly. So the answer to the first question is yes. I do think on like the early betting odds, he'll be one of the favorites to win it. And for the second question, I kind of just gave you 7 or 8 names who I would consider as some of the best in the NFL. Augustine, if Walter Nolen is still there in the mid to late 20s, do you think the Bears should trade back into the first round to get the 5th-year option? I don't think it'd be more so for the 5th-year option. I would just think it would be, hey, this is like a top 15, 20-ish prospect. If he's there at 28, yeah, let's go get him, right? I mean, Mel Kiper mocked him to the Bears at 39 the other day, which would be insane value. Like, unless the kid committed murder, if you can get him at 39, like, yeah, I'll take a chance on character concerns to an extent. Like, if he's just like, no one at Ole Miss or A&M liked him, he never practiced, like, okay, like, you got to draw a line somewhere. But if it's just like, yeah, he's a little immature, he was 5 minutes late to practice sometimes, like, okay, he's 21, like, he's talented as hell, like, there's things you can work with, right? Like Jalen Carter, right? At some point, a team took a chance at 10. You're telling me if this guy is in the 20s, a team's not taking a chance? I don't know if the Bears would be that team, but I'd be interested. Download Game Time today, the best ticketing app out there, and the official ticketing partner of Bears Now by Chat Sports is Game Time. Listen, spring is here, which means baseball is back. Go check out the Cubs at Wrigley or the White Sox at Guaranteed Rate Field and have some fun. Get out and about. If you need to get tickets, Game Time's the place for you. Couple Bulls games left, Blackhawks, depending on when you're watching this. You can get tickets for those events as well. Concerts, comedy shows, and much more. Game Time is my go-to place for tickets. They really shine with their last-minute deals. Often, you can find tickets at a reduced price on the day of the event, even just hours or minutes before it starts. Check out the feature Game Time picks as well. It'll highlight the best deals in the venue available, combining the quality of seat and ticket price and give you the best prices. Plenty of other benefits with Game Time include all-in pricing, so you're not hit with random fees at the end, views from the seats, and Game Time ticket coverage, the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Use code CHATSPORTS after you download the Game Time app and create an account to get $20 off your first purchase only right now. That is code CHATSPORTS, all one word, for $20 off. Terms apply. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. Scott, if all blue chippers are gone, Kenneth Grant at 10, Jordan Davis went 13. I see them being similar. Well, a couple things. One, I actually like him better than Jordan Davis. I think he's a little twitchier, gives you more juice as a pass rusher. Not a ton, but more than Jordan Davis. And two, Jordan Davis should not have gone that high. Like, I think if the Eagles could do that over, they would. Now, he's been a fine rotation piece, but, like, he's really just a run stopper, so that was probably too high. I think Kenneth Grant could give you some pass rush ability. I think 10's a little rich. I wouldn't hate it. Like, to me, he's like 20-ish, like late teens, early 20s in terms of prospect range for me. So, okay, 10 in this draft where there's going to be a lot of variance in prospects. Okay, I wouldn't completely crash out like I would if it's Shamar Stewart, but it's still on the early side of things for me. Erica Lingovan, what are your thoughts on drafting Will Johnson at 10 if he is still there? See, like, I think he is closer to a top 10 prospect. I don't think he is, but I think he's closer. Obviously, though, lesser need. So it's like, would you take Kenneth Grant over Will Johnson? Would you go the other way? If you take Will Johnson, what does that mean for Tyreek Stevenson? Is he just a backup? Are you trying to trade him? Or Terrell Smith? I don't know. Like the player. Think he's really talented. I also do, I think this is important, though. I think he's a better zone coverage corner than a man guy, and they're going to play more press man, which I actually think feeds into Tyreek's strengths, which is why I want to see it. I want to see what he can do this year in this scheme and just see if he can mature. I don't think the value's bad, Erica, but from it, like, even though I want to go BPA, the need is so low for me. I wouldn't love it. Okay, subscribe to the channel. We got daily updates, news, rumors, draft content, more free agency buzz. Should get another wave of free agency after the draft. We'll see if the Bears dive into that or not. Link is below. Share it with a friend, youtube.com/BearsNow. We will be live for all 7 rounds of the NFL draft. Okay, Captain CB, if the Bears go running back, defensive tackle, offensive tackle with the first 3 picks, would you trade pick 72 for Travon Walker? I'd think about it. I mean, I think that's, from the Bears side of things, that's decent value. Would the Jags do that? I don't know. But I'll just say this. If you check those 3 boxes, I think that kind of gives you some flexibility at 72. You could take the best edge available. You could take a receiver if you really like one there. You could take a tight end. You could take a safety, a linebacker. You can kind of just follow your board because you've checked off needs with your first 3 picks. Lacora, this might be too early to ask. Who are the 2023 left tackle free agents in this draft because you draft either Tyler Warren or Ashton in the first? Oh, well, it is too early. I mean, I could try to pick it up on the spot. You know what's funny? I mean, one of the better ones, if I'm being honest, probably will be Braxton Jones. Why? Because high-end left tackles don't become free agents. That's why you're looking at the who's the guy from the Vikings this year that signed with Houston? Cam Robinson. Those are the type of players that hit free agency. Like, average to above average starters that the current team doesn't want to pay for. But in reality, that's not like you're not getting a high-end player in free agency there. Like Braxton Jones could be one of the better ones. So having trouble finding it, of course. But, here we go. Colton Miller, if the Raiders don't re-up with him. Braden Smith with the Colts. A couple notable names, but I would imagine the Colts extend him. Caleb McGarry is really a right tackle, but he's set to be free agent. Jonah Williams. You know, again, you're kind of talking about like short-term options for the most part. Miller or Smith could be long-term options, but you're not talking about like high-end players. Name a player that you don't want to draft. Like, get him the hell out of here. Who is that player? At 10, it's Shamar Stewart. If they want to get him later, that's fine. For me, I don't really want to take Travion Henderson. Unlike Stewart, I like the player. Again, I don't dislike Stewart. I just don't like him at 10. I like Travion Henderson, but I don't like the fit with Swift. So those are a couple that come to mind. What say you? Let me know. John Orticelli, could we get Malachi Moore at 148? Also, your thoughts on Vernon Broughton. Vernon Broughton's going a lot higher than 233. He's probably going to go day 2. Maybe he sneaks into the 4th, but he's not falling that far. His measurables are off the charts. Athletic profile is there. I think he goes 3rd, 4th round. Moore in the 5th could be there. I think Brugler had a 4th round grade on him, so yeah, it could certainly happen. Moon, have you taken a look at Jordan Phillips? A lot of Jalen Carter vibes he gives off. Is he the Florida State kid? Or no, he's Maryland. Farmer is the Florida State kid. I've watched a little bit of him, not a ton. From what I've seen, I don't remember having the thought of Jalen Carter vibes. But I do think a lot of defensive tackles in this draft, while they might be really good in one area and not great in another, the thing they are good at is pretty damn good. Like, there's not a lot of complete guys. Mason Graham is a pretty complete one. I think Harmon and Nolen are pretty complete defensive tackles who have big potential. And then you have kind of like specialists. This guy can really rush the passer, not great against the run, or vice versa. I can watch a little more Moon. I think Carter, that's probably a stretch for a guy who would probably go day 2, but maybe from a flashes standpoint, you see a little bit of that. Okay, appreciate all the questions. At HGramNFL is where you can find me on social media. If you have any more questions, fire over there. Any draft questions I get on social, I'll try to get answered before the draft, so fire in those DMs. Appreciate you tuning in to Bears Now.